She called the cops on me for unloading a mop bucket in my own driveway one day before closing. Yeah, I was standing there sweating, holding a bucket of soapy water when the cruiser pulled up like I'd just broken into someone else's house. The deputy checked my documents, told me I was fine. But the woman in the mint bathrobe, she smiled like she still owned me and the street and the air I was breathing. I didn't know it then, but those two wooden stakes sticking out of the grass with blue ribbons on top would end up flipping this quiet neighborhood upside down. My name's Jack Miller, HVAC Tech Union Card, one divorce under my belt, and a quiet dream to finally live somewhere peaceful. Cedar Ridge Drive wasn't fancy cracked stucco overgrown lawns, backyard fences that leaned like old men. But it was mine. I'd saved for years, ate ramen-skipped vacations. And this was supposed to be the good chapter. That first morning I woke up on a half-deflated air mattress, sunlight leaking through cheap blinds, and I saw it, my van, my front door, my little mailbox that actually had my name on it. I made coffee, stepped outside, and froze. My van was covered in official-looking papers. Elm Ridge Neighborhood Standards Council. Sounded like government, but it wasn't. Just a printer and a bad attitude. It listed violations: commercial vehicle on property, early occupancy, disturbance of community ambiance. Total fines, a weekend in Vegas easy. And there she was, across the street, in a faded minivan. Patty Blake. 50-something burgundy bob yellow cardigan, even in summer. Sitting there with binoculars big enough to spot Mars, scribbling in a notebook every time I moved. My neighbor Nate Ballcap coffee mug wandered over. Document everything, he whispered. She does this to everyone. I told myself it'd pass. Bullies get bored, right? But by noon, I lost a $62,000 job. Someone had called my client, said I had open HOA violations. 2 more canceled before I even finished my coffee. That's when I noticed them. 2 skinny stakes with blue ribbons hugging my property line like shy kids. The dirt around them looked fresh, like a cat had tried to bury something. I followed the line, and my stomach dropped. Her driveway patties curved into my yard by almost 10 feet. 10 feet. I felt something shift inside me. Fear turning into focus. I called the county office, hired a title company to pull records. While I waited, Patty strutted by, clipboard in hand, and said, "We prefer residents who respect standards." I smiled back. I respect property lines. She stiffened like a cat that heard a dog collar rattle. That night around 1 a.m., my motion light went off bright as noon. I peeked through the blinds. Patty was out there in a black hoodie, middle of July, rolling a contractor's measuring wheel, spraying orange X's on my lawn like she was mapping out a crime scene. I called Deputy Ramirez. "He pulled up slow," said Ms. Blake. "Go home." She did. But she stared at my window the whole time like she was counting my breaths. The next morning the title report landed. Dry legal jargon, but thunder hiding inside it. No recorded easement benefiting adjacent lot. Encroachment of approximately 9.5 feet. I called Nate. We stood in my half-painted kitchen staring at the paper like it was gold. "So she's been driving on your land for years," he said. "Looks that way." He grinned, the kind of grin guys give when they know you're about to start a war. She'd already booked a neighborhood safety meeting at the community center. So I went. She was up there flipping through 73 slides of me doing crimes, tying down a ladder, bringing in groceries. People chuckled. Then I plugged in my laptop. The room went quiet when the map came up clean. Black parcel lines, her driveway cutting deep into my lot like a knife through butter. I didn't raise my voice. I just said original plat. No easements. Every time Ms. Blake uses her driveway, she's on my property. Silence. Then that heavy kind of shift when people start seeing the truth and the villain realizes they're standing alone. That should have ended it. But Patty didn't retreat. She pivoted. At 2:17 a.m., my camera caught her keying my work van. Ski mask, gardening gloves. Ramirez cuffed her. I thought it was over until 2 hours later I got a notification she'd filed an emergency restraining order. Claimed I was stalking her. Said my van and my crew intimidated her. Judge granted it without me in the room. Just like that, I couldn't park near my own house. Couldn't run jobs. Clients bailed. My schedule collapsed like a wet tent. And I broke a little. I sat on my back steps staring at those damn blue ribbons, thought about how small I felt. Smaller than the divorce. Smaller than being 13 and having my lunch dumped on the floor. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I should just move. But the thing about being quiet your whole life is one day you hear your own voice echo and it scares you enough to keep going. The knock came at dusk. A young woman, nervous eyes, trembling hands, holding a thumb drive. "I'm Elena," she said. "Patty's niece. I can't watch this anymore." I plugged it in. What I saw made my jaw clench. Patty in her kitchen practicing her scared voice for court, fake crying on cue, then laughing into her phone. Bragging that she'd called my clients from blocked numbers. Pulling private records from her law office just to make me dance. I don't know if you've ever felt rage and relief collide. It's like metal bending back into shape. I took it straight to court. Judge Barton listened, watched, rewound. When he looked up, his voice was calm, but cold. The restraining order evaporated, replaced with a new one protecting me. Patty was barred from stepping foot on my property. The county sent me a letter that read like music. "You may erect a boundary fence according to code." I didn't feel revenge, I felt air. I hired a crew, set redwood posts, deep ran cedar panels tight. The inspector signed off, said, "You'd be amazed what I get called for out here." Around noon, Patty showed up, chained herself to my neighbor's birdbath by mistake, holding a homemade sign. "Property rights are human rights." Ramirez clipped the chain. "Sit down before you sprain something," he muttered. By evening, the gate clicked shut, soft but final. The sound of peace arriving on time. I thought it was over. It wasn't. Her last play was a 911 call. She told dispatch I'd threatened to make her disappear. Cried on cue. Forgot about the cameras, forgot about the phone logs. When discovery hit, her public defender just blinked. She'd called half the county earlier that week asking how to phrase a felony. They cut her a deal, fines, probation, counseling. And I filed a civil suit, defamation and interference. When you bring receipts, justice comes with interest. Her firm fired her after their IT guy printed every database she'd accessed without permission. She settled, covered my legal fees, plus enough to buy a grill so big my buddies joked it needed its own HOA. One quiet morning I hung a little brass plate on the new gate. It reads, "Boundaries build peace." Sometimes corny is true. People in the neighborhood changed after that. Kids rode scooters again without her taking notes. Nate waved like a normal person instead of glancing at her van. A couple brought me a casserole, said she'd run off 2 families before me. They were sorry for not speaking up. I told them I get it. Fear's louder in person than on paper. I'm no hero. I fix air conditioners. I wanted a quiet porch. But sometimes quiet has to be fought for. And maybe I went too far. Maybe not far enough. I hear both sides. But when I close that gate, sip my coffee, I remind myself of one thing. You're allowed to be here. You earned here. And this street finally sounds like people live on it, not like a courtroom with squirrels. So tell me, where's the line for you? When someone decides they own you with paperwork and fake power, do you make peace or do you build the boundary? The law says I could build it even if it made her life harder. Justice or payback, you decide. Lesson: respect isn't given through rules, it's built through boundaries.